What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and welcome to the how to counter Leroy Smith video, how to beat his ass right into the ground. Well, that's not going to happen. The character is super overpowered, just objectively, doesn't specialize in anything, rather he can do everything in the game, and everything exceptionally well. Better than your character can, even if they specialize in that particular thing. So he's completely ridiculous, completely overpowered. He is going to get nerfed very soon, I hope. Bandai Namco, come on, should have nerfed him by now. So yeah, if two great players go at it, they have equal skill. If one of them plays Leroy and one of them another character, I bet on the Leroy player to win most of the battles. He's just that bad. So again, I'm not going to go through the whole move list. I'm going to do a best of, show some of the most ridiculous techniques and what you can do about them. But make no mistake, like, this is not going to be a magical, abracadabra or whatever Harry Potter says, magical trick to beat Leroy. He will still be overpowered. But can it help to know a few tricks going into it? Absolutely. So let's just start with the orbital. A lot of Leroys spam this, and they might start a round by spamming it. Usually a Leroy, 99% of the time, they start the round with an orbital, because half the time it works, every damn time. And orbitals are weak to jabs, and they are weak to sidesteps. So if I sorry, it's Leroy. Of course, it magically clipped me. I don't know why, but it's Leroy Smith, so obviously. But you should be able to, this is Leroy of course, but you should be able to step this to both sides quite reliably. Okay, I can. So, sidewalk should be good, okay, no magical tracking. And you can jab people out of orbitals. This is very good to do versus Brian, it's equally good to do versus Leroy. But again, this is the best orbital in the game. It has ridiculous frames, super fast, recovers super quickly. Be very careful when trying to jab him out of it, especially if you're dashing in doing it. This orbital is insane. But we take what we can, and we can jab him out of it. We can sidewalk it reliably to both sides for a launch punish. So, that's the first thing I wanted to show. And then, rather interestingly, if you fight versus Leroy and you're not standing on player 2, as I'm doing, you're standing on player 1, you're fighting at a disadvantage. And you're like, that sounds really weird. Why is that? Well, a lot of Leroys do what I like to refer and call the down 1+2 spam. It looks like this. Ha! 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 It's very tricky to do. No, not really. You just spam down 1+2. And why do they do this? Well, it has pretty much infinite range. It's a mid counter hit launcher that has great +6 on hit, neutral on block, forces crouch, tracks to one side, almost hits grounded, yada yada. It's completely overpowered. It is going to get nerfed. But the Tekken system is a little bit dumb in that as soon as a move forces crouch, you're not allowed to sidestep towards the camera. So that is towards us. If a move forces crouch, you're only allowed to step into the background. So on player 2, that means I'm allowed to step towards my right shoulder. And this is good, because this move doesn't track people who step towards the right. But in comes the Tekken system on player 1. Again, we're not allowed to step towards the camera, so on this side, we're only allowed to step towards our left shoulder. Oh no, the move tracks to this direction. So yes, when you're fighting Leroy on player 1, if you're spamming down 1+2, you block it, you're pretty much not allowed to sidestep, because if he is spamming this move, it will track you. And if you're sidestepping and you've already pressed a button, you get launched. I'm trying to jab. So this is a problem, and especially as it is, forces crouch and neutral on block, so he has these disgusting frame traps like down 1+2. If you even try and interrupt him in between with while standing 4, and he's doing this, you get counter hits and you die. So what does this look like? I'm gonna while standing 4. Oh no! But again, on this side, I'm allowed to sidestep. Because I will sidestep the jab and I will sidestep down 1+2. So you just have less options on player 1. Because on player 1, I can't sidestep this. You see, but my apologies. This can get confusing when recording sometimes. Let's see. Ooh. So, again, lock, sidestep. I can sidestep the jab. But on this side, if he chooses to do down 1+2 into down 1+2, that sidestep is not going to help me. I'm going to get clipped by it. So yeah, I hope that, sorry for the confusion where it's hard to switch sides and do whatever, all of that. So just know that if you fight him from player 1, when you block a down 1+2, you have less options. Because another down 1+2 cannot be sidestepped. And then you have those frame traps to deal with. Most of them on player 2 you can sidestep, because you'll step the you'll step another down 1+2, you'll step the 1-1, you'll step the back 1+2, but on player 1, the down 1+2 will track you, so you are at a disadvantage there. And then we're going to look at this move on its own, which is spanned by everyone. It is probably the best 10 frame countered string in the game. It does what, 47 damage? It's completely ridiculous. But it starts with 2 left punches. And those are -7 on block if he stops at 1-1. And this is how you counter this. As soon as you see him punch twice with his left hand, duck. You have some time here before the machine gun punches start. And this is thanks to Frame Whisperer, this tip here, and it's that between the last machine gun punch and the final hit of the string, you have quite a long time to interrupt him. Oh, sorry, I'm fucking it up. Oh, God. You have quite a long time. I'm just gonna twin piston, I think. I just wanted to show that I can do it while standing 2 as well. But this is riskier, it's a 16 frame move. I would go with faster, but as you can see, we have quite a long time. And this works even if he doesn't add the last hit. Even if he just stops at the machine gun punches, like so, he recovers very slowly. As you can see, it says punish. I'm gonna while standing 2, punish. You see, very slowly recovers. So again, 2 punches with the left hand, duck. If he does the machine gun punches, you will get a launch punish if you just time it properly. So that is good to know. And then we have the other Ip Man style machine gun punch string, and it's the 14 frame, 56 damage punish. Incredible move. And this one is trickier, because now we don't have 2 telegraphed left-hand punches to tell us to duck. And if you block the first hit, you have to block the entire string. It jails on block, meaning you can't duck it as soon as you've blocked one of the punches. And if you happen to be ducking here, trying to while standing punish him before the last hit is very tricky, especially with lag. It's just not reliable. I would not bet on trying to do this. You see me do it because I'm amazing. But oh. No, but don't go for that. Rather, and here's another great tip by Frame Whisperer, and it's that if your character has a move from full crouch that high crushes, you know, everyone has a dick jab, but with Kazuya, I have my forward roll. Great. I have quite a lot of time to just counter hit, and that's a lot of damage. So what does your character have here that could be a good Anti-Leroy? Let's just go to King, who is the next character in the character list. Kazuya, King. And now, of course, I have to re-record. I wish it would stick, you know, my recording through character select. I have a big arm sweep from crouch that high crushes. And we get a really big punish. Yeah, I dropped the combo, but yeah, you get the point. Like, that's a really good counter. So, good on Frame Whisperer for finding that. That is a great help. And now we're going to look at a move that you see a lot of Leroys do, and it is the, let's see. It's so confusing to keep doing a lot of recordings. 4422. It's a super fast, super long range mid launcher that does 28 damage on its own. It does obscene damage with the follow-up juggle. And this can have some tricky pushback, this move. It can actually make Kazuya's back one whiff due to pushback. Most of the time, back one will connect, but you're just going to have to trust me that it can, at certain ranges, make this whiff. I'm gonna see if I can recreate it. I can't because, of course, I'm recording for YouTube. I'm gonna give it... Let's see. Oh, I think it would have whiffed there. Okay, I actually got a whiff. So, what I'm saying here is that if your 12 frame punish doesn't have a lot of range, it can quite easily whiff here when blocking this. So, with Kazuya, I go it down for the 4-4 just to always make sure that I do get the punish. But of course now, oh, back 1+2 is super reliable. But yeah, I would go for a longer range punish. And then we have the Pimp Sweep, which is a homing hell sweep with a lot of range. It's pretty ridiculous. You do know what happens if you block the first hit, he staggers, you get a full launch. If you block the second hit, he's -16, meaning that every character gets a launch. Even Zafi now, who has a 16 frame down for 2, gets a launch. Now with Kazuya, we would want to electric here, like so. So really make sure to get the proper punish here. Don't punish that with a back one too. You know, do make sure to launch him. If you play a character that has a hop kick or a down for 2, there's a good chance you do. Just go for the very easy launch. And for 3, if they spam that, I hope you know that it's a high. But again, he has very, very scary mids to mix that with, like a safe forward 1+2, which is a super fast mid knockdown. That is, as you can see, -9 on block. It's perfectly safe. And you'd think this would be easy to sidestep, but it's a really weird move. Sometimes I get his back, and sometimes it will just clip me no matter what. And this is due to the forward input. All the moves that are inputted with forward get some tracking due to the dashing involved. So this move is just weird when it comes to the tracking. It can even track you towards the left. It can track you to both sides. So yeah, that move is pretty dumb, to be honest. And it's the same with forward 2 too. I can't step the first hit and then be clipped by the second hit. You see? Because he realigns naturally. But that is weaker to stepping to both sides than forward 1+2. But yeah, sometimes it will track, just so you know, due to the forward input. And then he has forward 3, so it's like, yeah, pick your poison. It's just very hard to deal with this character. from a distance or standing close. I remember when we thought he had range problems, like he doesn't at all. And then we're gonna look at down 2-4, this one. And this is a move that a lot of people haven't got into their muscle memory yet to block, so they eat both hits. But know that even on hits, you can block the second hit. And then it's -11, so you can do it while standing 4. Unfortunately, it's not more minus than that, but yeah, that's what we have. If you block both hits... No, if you block the first hit... Oh no, you're kidding. No, you can low parry. Sorry, my execution is just off. You can low parry. So yes, if you are like a really good player, you can do this if we spam it. Block the first hit, low parry the second hit, so you get a bigger punish, rather than just getting, you know, -11. Getting a full launch certainly helps. Very nice. You can suddenly really make it hurt. So that's good to know. And then, of course, a lot of Leroys will be doing down 3-2, 3-4. So that looks like a Hwoarang flowchart, like Hwoarang's down 3-4 into Hell Sweep, basically. But down 3-2 on its own is just an incredible move. There's just not a whole lot you can do about this. If you do duck it, you do get the punish, but again, he has such scary mids that it's not like we want to duck Leroy too often. So most of the time you find yourself eating this. And many times they will follow up with 3-4 because the Hermit mids are so scary and the lows are not that scary. So usually you will be blocking standing and you eat that. But do know that you can of course low parry, and if you block this, he's -15, so you do get to launch him. That was a punish. So that's good to know. It is -15. But overall, as I said with the Hermit, like you don't really want to duck this stance. It has a lot of very powerful mids. The lows aren't that scary, in my opinion, if you don't get counter hits. So don't press buttons versus Hermit. He can also parry from Hermit. And it's like, if he does 1-2-4, that's his worst transition into Hermit, where he has the least advantage. Here you can actually hit him before he has time to parry, but if he's doing down 1-4 into parry, I'm fucked. I can't even jab. So you don't really want to challenge Hermit. He can parry from it, and his parry is incredibly good. He has a crushing, homing counter hit launcher with this sweep. His one option is also a parry, and it parries as quickly as the normal parry. It just takes a few frames to activate, and the parry window is huge. So yeah, beware of challenging Hermit. I would just say do a standing block, basically. And we're gonna look at his parry, which a lot of people like to use. It can be super annoying. Maybe they'll do it after an orbital. He does leave himself open after the parry window. So you can get a launch if you can anticipate it. But know that lows will always beat the parry. Thank God he can't parry lows, but we'll probably see that in the next patch. Fixed an issue where Leroy couldn't parry lows. So this works. And also really good is that he can't parry throws. So throws are always a hard counter on his parry. So rather than going in with jabs, if you expect a parry, just go in with a throw or a low. You know, pick one of those. And also something interesting is that Leroy, while his standing punishment is great, his low punishment isn't that good. Especially for, you know, all of these moves that are minus 12, you know, like Kazuya's down back 4. Or Kazuya's forward roll. Also minus 12, right? So all he has is while standing 4. Doesn't do a lot of damage, gives him +5. It's actually not good at all. That's all he gets. And if you're minus 13, he gets this into +6 Hermit. So that's much better. So again, you actually have space here to abuse moves that are minus 12 and force crouch or lows. You know, this is a really good move versus Leroy. I mean, it's always a super good move. It's one of Kazuya's best moves. But versus Leroy, it's even better. And this is, of course, until he starts doing this, which is the best low parry in the game. But yeah, so if someone's spamming orbitals, don't go in with those lows. But if he's not spamming orbitals, and you're placing it well, the down back 4 is really good versus Leroy and those types of lows. And of course, you have to be on the lookout versus Leroy for his pin cane. There's nothing good I can say here. This is an extra rage drive which can be done at any point in time. It has incredible range. It is homing. The second hit is homing. It is +8 on block. He can't do a lot with the frame advantage unless he has you at the wall. So a lot of Leroys will do this around here. But yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but just keep in mind, a lot of people forget about it. But just keep in mind that that can come at any time. And that's basically a knock this aura, you know, enormous range. Just faster. Aura comes out at what? 25 frames, and this comes out at, is it 22? Yeah, so it's 3 frames faster. Balanced as all things should be. And those are the key moves I wanted to show. And I should also point out that his down for 2 here string, which I see some people use, is -18. Has some pushback, so a lot of hop kicks will whiff here. But yeah, just make sure to launch punish this. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. And then he has from Hermit the 4 kick here, but there's an annoying extension to it that again a lot of Leroy players like to use. This, which is actually a natural combo, believe it or not, but that's -14 as you can see, and again has some pushback. You see, it makes my back 1+2 whip. But Kazuya's back 1-2, the range is pretty lacking. So again, if I want a reliable punish, and this goes back to the forward 4-2, down forward 4-4 is your go-to move with Kazuya on these long things. I can of course electric here, if you're really on point. TheMainManSWE can't electric. Fucking YouTube curse, man. No. One more, come on. This is how I punish that every single time. I never fail. And yeah, I think this is what I wanted to show about Leroy. Everything else is basically safe. You know, this dumb shit, like down back 1-3. Did you know that that's actually, I'm gonna switch to Leroy myself. Down back 1-3, if blocked, is actually neutral on block. So you'll see JDCR with Leroy do a lot of nasty setups with that. See, it's neutral, but it's mid high. But this is the mix up, mid -9, safe. Why is it safe? I have no idea. So Actually, if you block this, you might think that Leroy is at a disadvantage. He's not. It's actually neutral. Why is it neutral? So yeah, beware of this. You know, again, 1-1-1+2-1 frame trap. Or JCR loves to do back 1+2 from there, because a lot of people think, oh, I can probably down forward 1 now uninterrupted. It's just dumb. It's just so dumb. And again, yeah, down forward 1-1, -1 on block, but it's mid-high. But he can mix up with down forward 1-4, which is completely safe. Can parry. Yeah. And do know that overall, the character has a lot of space control. So it's like, you can't really backdash or sidestep away from trouble. You know, oh, you're backdashing? Nope. Oh, you're sidestepping? That hell sweep is homing. Long range. Homing. Long range. Look at the range. Look at the range. So it's like, yeah, he has such a high degree of space control and everything else. So I can't really tell you, you know, just sidestep to this side or do this, backdash. It's like, a character just has it all. But I hope the few tips I gave you in this video can help you a little bit at least. But just overall, what we're all doing is waiting for nerfs. And hopefully they come soon, and there are plenty of them, because God knows there's a lot to fix with this character. But in the meantime, I hope these few tips help you out, and big thumbs up to Frame Whisperer on finding tips on this and this. Very good ideas. So, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you have a nice day. Take care.